Let's discuss improving the quality of our image and trying to get the highest resolution, least noisy image possible. We'll begin with 512 by 512 as you see here on our resolution. Our speed is at 400 Hertz, and we have not engaged any line or frame averaging. And so we will go down and click on Capture an Image, and let's capture an image of our specimen. And here you see all three of our fluorophores and our composite image. So that's a 512 by 512 image. How do I increase the resolution of this image? There's several ways to do it. I can go back over here to this screen and I can increase my digitizer resolution. So let's go 1024 by 1024. We'll click on Capture Image again. You'll see the system capture an image. It took a little longer that time. Why? Our resolution has doubled. And now you can see it's a little bit better image, but it's also becoming a little grainier. How do we eliminate some of that grain? Well, if we go back over to the other screen, now we can implement line average. And here we're going to average out the information from 5 different line scans. Because we're scanning each line 5 times, this will slow down. And so I'm going to click on Capture an Image, and you can watch the screen here, and you'll see the image being collected. And now you can see it's a little bit slower. Why? We're collecting 5 scans from each line, and we're averaging those. Notice that the image is a lot cleaner. It's less noisy. So if we look on our composite image, you see now a lot of that pixelation has gone away. So by increasing the resolution of our digitizer and increasing the line averaging, we get a cleaner image. Let's try that with frame averaging. So we'll go back over here, we'll turn line averaging back to 1, and we'll take frame averaging, let's make it 4 frames. So now we're going to average each of 4 frames together, and let's see what our image looks like. I'll click on Capture Image, watch the screen here, and you'll see our high resolution image come up a little bit faster and a little bit grainier. So you can see that frame average is not as good as line averaging for producing a nice clean image. Let's try it again, only this time we're going to increase our resolution even more. So I come up here to resolution. Let's do a 2K by 2K image. And we will change frame averaging back to 1. Let's just capture an image at 2K by 2K. And you'll see how grainy this is. But you might say, well, Mark, we increased our resolution. How can it be grainy? Well, again, there's noise in the system, and so by using line and frame average, we can eliminate some of that noise, reduce some of this pixelation, and increase the resolution of our image. So let's go back and engage line averaging. Let's select 5 scans per line. We'll click on Capture Image again. Watch the right screen, and you'll see our new image come up. Again, it's slower. Why? We're scanning each line 5 times. But when you look at the resultant image, you'll see that a lot of the noise has gone away and a lot of the pixelation has gone away. So line averaging, frame averaging are very useful. Now remember, you see how slow the scan is because we're doing many averages. How do I increase that speed? Well, I can go back over to my speed pull-down menu, and let's say I want to increase it to 700 Hertz. So now I'm going to capture my image, we'll watch it again, and this should prove to be a little faster than it was last time. Well, you can't appreciate the speed. It is going a little faster than it was before. And as a result of the speed, you see the trade-off that there is some pixelation. So speed is helpful when you do averaging, but there's always a trade-off on whatever you select in terms of making your better image. Let's go back and turn off line averaging. We'll make that 1. And let's do frame averaging again. We'll do 4. Now we're going to click on capture image and watch the image on the right screen. This is a little faster. Again, frame averaging is always faster than line averaging, but it doesn't return as nice a result. Here you see on our composite image, it's still a little bit pixelated, so we can improve that by doing both frame and line averaging. I don't recommend that you do both, and if you do, I would say only select maybe 2 scans per line and more scans per frame. So let's click on capture image, watch the image on the screen. Again, there's always trade-offs, and here you see it's become a little more pixelated again. We see some pixels in here, but it's still scanning, so some of those pixels will go away over time. So by playing with resolution, by playing with speed, by playing with the line and the frame averaging, we'll tend to get better images, higher resolution images that are suitable for publication. Let's discuss the relationship with speed, increasing the speed on your image, and the fact that you zoom in at the same time. Here you see a 512 by 512 image. It's fairly well pixelated. I'm going to increase my resolution a little bit, 2K by 2K, and I'm going to increase the speed from 700 Hertz up to 1000 Hertz. You'll notice when I go to capture image that this is going to zoom in a little bit. Why does it do that? There's a relationship between the speed feature and the zoom feature. When you go over 700 Hertz, the image will automatically zoom. Here it is zoomed to a factor of 3, which you can see over here on the left screen. If you look at the zoom factor here, it is zoomed up to a factor of 3 because we're increasing the speed of the digitizer. Remember that the faster you go, the more you're going to zoom in on your image, which may not be a positive thing for your application. We won't take much time to discuss the different resolutions available. You'll learn that when you come in for hands-on training, but I do want to show you the dramatic difference between a low resolution and a high resolution image, both using line averaging. Here we're going to do a 512 by 512 image with 5 line averages. So I'm going to click on capture image. You'll see the image come up on the screen, on the right screen. Now you see the image forming. This is a 512 by 512 image. And here we can see a lot of pixelation. So even though we did line averaging at 512 by 512, we can still see a lot of pixels. Now I want you to watch when I click on a 8K by 8K image that was taken previously, and you'll see the difference in the resolution. Here you see the pixelation has gone away. This is an 8K by 8K image. We have a lot of fine detail resolved in here, and a lot of the noise is gone because we did line averaging of 5 scans per line. Always remember that the lasers are very powerful. Even though they might be set to 10%, 8%, 5%, they're still hitting your fluorophore and your specimen with a lot of energy. So when you're doing an experiment, it's best to segregate cells in different areas of your slide or your culture dish. Find some cells that you can set up your experiment with. Run all the different lasers, the different PMTs, the different settings, the gain and offset until you get good images. Once you've done that, you can now go to fresh cells which have not been exposed to illumination and therefore not photo bleached, and run your experiment on those quickly and easily and get good high resolution images. As I showed you before, you can go into the Leica Settings pull-down bar for the beam path and select specific filter packages for the fluorophore that you're working for. However, remember, the flexibility of the system allows me to select an individual laser. So here I have the 405 line illuminated, and I can set my photomultiplier tube anywhere I want. In fact, I can do several photomultiplier tubes if I wish under one particular spectra. So now I have 3 photomultiplier tubes engaged that are selecting light, different colored light from underneath the emission spectra. I can also control the output color of my photomultiplier tube. For example, this one is set to blue, but I can set that one to red or any color that I like. So we'll make that one red. Let's make this one green. And let's make this one maybe a glow dark. And so now I have 3 different colors selected for my PMT. So not only can I select different laser lines, I can select one or more of the PMTs, and I can select the output color of each PMT so that I know, even within one emission spectra, what colors I'm looking at in the spectrum. So let's see what this looks like on our output. We've selected red for the first PMT, blue for the second PMT, and glow dark for the 3 PMT. If I click on live, you'll now see the image on the right hand screen. Here are my 3 PMTs all looking under that one excitation curve, and here is my composite image showing me all of the light combined into one image. So I can selectively choose a different color output that I want, even regardless of the area of the spectrum that I'm in. I'm scanning in a blue to green region of the spectrum, but I'm actually returning a red color. I could also return a yellow color if I want. Here I have sort of a brownish gold color. So I can choose the colors that I wish to have as output, irrespective of the area of the spectrum that I'm examining. Now that I have an image, I can do certain annotation of this image. I can add text to it. I can add a scale bar. For example, if I click on the scale bar over here on the left, now I have a tool that allows me to put a scale bar right on my image, and it gives the actual dimensions because the system knows how big every single pixel is. So I've drawn a line and it's told me that line is 150 microns long. I can always select something and delete it if I want to. Maybe I want, a scale bar that goes in a different way. Or I can actually use the scale bar to measure things. So if I want to measure across a portion of my image, I could put a line across it, and now I know exactly the dimension of the image that I'm interested in. And I can do that for several features of my image, clear across the whole image that I've made. Other features that are available to you on these icons on the left-hand side of the image include the zoom feature. You can zoom in or you can zoom out. That's often useful. You can return the image as a 1-to-1 aspect ratio for the monitor. Again, we talked about the quick lookup table before. There's also an auto contrast feature which you can play with. I don't recommend that you use it because the system automatically sets the contrast, but you can select a particular region that you wish to use as the default for the whole contrast of the image. So if you want to play with that, you can. If you click on this upper icon that shows many windows, it gives other features as well. You can draw a line, you can draw a rectangle, a circle, you can draw in arrows. You can do annotation, so if you want to put text on your image, you can do that as well. So all of these features are available to you on the image that's on your monitor. Remember, however, that until you right-click on your image, you have not sent it as a snapshot to your experiment folder. It will not be saved, and you will lose all that information if you don't save it under the snapshot feature.